Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of The Real Heroes Show. Nick here with you as always, and in today's episode, I will be doing a review and breakdown of the Apple TV Plus show called See, starring Jason Momoa, of Season 2, Episode 1, entitled Brothers and Sisters. If you're new to the channel and you'd like to help support us, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, and turn on that notifications bell for all of our future content. So I'm going to do a quick breakdown. There will be spoilers throughout this episode, so if you haven't seen Season 1 and you have access to Apple TV Plus, I suggest you go watch Season 1. It's 8 episodes, about an hour runtime for each episode. Once you're fully caught up, go ahead and watch this episode and then come back and watch our review. But if you're okay with spoilers and just want to hear what we have to say and then make your decision about watching the entire first season and this episode, then let's keep the train rolling. So cool. Diving right in, I'd say the first thing that's really apparent in this show as a whole, not to mention this episode, is just the candidness of the acting here. It's always been a fascination, I think, for me watching this season, watching how the actors portray the loss of vision. Even though there are a few select people who do have the gift of sight, after the virus had wiped out, pretty much everyone on the world, aside from 2 million survivors who have lost their vision. But as the generations have progressed, it's come to the point now where there are people that are being born with vision. So just to see how this is continuing on, and just the acting from everyone really, and just it's incredible to just have the effect of not being able to see, but also just the way they interact with each other. I think, again, just seeing the way Jason Momoa as a individual, how he portrays this wild father and warrior who cares about his people, cares about his family. Just does a great job, especially when it comes to the violence and the fighting scenes. And moving right into that, this first episode was a banger. It was definitely very violent. I think it might have been the most violent episode thus far, which, if you're weak to any sort of fighting and blood and loss of limbs and stabbing, then this might not be for you. But if you can kind of look away from that and just continue watching to see what happens, then kudos to you. There's definitely a big influence on family, as this show does as a whole, but for the sake of it being consisting of brothers and sisters, there's also the father-son connection between Baba Voss, Jason Momoa's character, and Kofun, his son, but not his biological son. And then, of course, we see the other instances of brothers between Baba Voss and Ido Voss. Ido Voss being portrayed this season by the one and only Dave Bautista. Then we also see the sisters between the Queen Kane and Princess Magra. For those of you who don't know, Princess Magra is actually the birth mother of Kofun and Hanaway, who, if you haven't seen Season 1, the Magra first came to seeking shelter, and Baba Voss, Jason Momoa's character, took her in and thus became the father. Speaking of the Princess Magra and Queen Kane story and their continuation after knowing that they aren't dead, it's interesting how they came to the city of Pensa, and have now made that the capital city of the Payan Empire. And I'm kind of curious to see how that actually will take place, because the Queen gives a speech to the people, which the people didn't really seem too excited about. And then the Princess Magra is actually taken back at one point, because the Queen talks about how she is going to be giving birth to a child who is essentially this prophetic message, and through this message, she says that he will sort of deliver us and the people of the Payans, or Payans. And then Magra's taken aback because she puts 2 and 2 together and realizes that Boots, who can see, and we do see him in this episode a couple times, has basically fathered a child with the Queen. And speaking of Boots, I'm not too sure if his life will be at risk. I'd like to see a little bit more of him throughout this season. I don't know if he's just going to be getting used by the Queen, but for the sake of other people who can see, Hanawa and Kofun can also see. Hanawa is taken prisoner at the end of season 1 and was taken to Ito Voss's people. And it's interesting to see how that's all going to play out as well, because as we see in this episode, Baba Voss, who goes to the city, he goes to try and rescue his daughter as he gains entrance through Travantes. He meets an old friend who I don't think he set him up by any means, but we get some really cool scenes as he goes through these coal pits, which looked very hot, and I think there was some pretty cool shots moving back through the tunnel. The effects were pretty well done, and as he comes up, there's a fight scene, and he tries to escape and moves through the city. More violence ensues, but he eventually gets captured, and then we finally see the meeting between the brothers of Ito and Baba Voss. Baba obviously gets tortured, and that's basically how the first episode ends. So a couple things that I thought of was, will Baba Voss escape? Will he be let go? Will he be up for ransom? Will he be rescued by the Payan soldiers? It's kind of interesting to see where this is all going to be heading throughout this season. I don't think he'll be dying, since we know that there's going to be a third season that already got greenlit. So it's safe to say that Jason Momoa's character is going to be continuing to live, which this is an interesting topic just for any sort of show. When things like that get announced, we can kind of surmise that certain characters will not be killed off. And I think to some degree it also takes away the mystery, the thought-provoking questions about who's going to live, who's not going to live, and why. Not just from a season-to-season basis, but also from an episode-to-episode basis. But I think Jason Momoa's acting in this show is very well done. He fits right into it. Speaking of a couple other characters in this show, Paris, who was looking after Kofun, they run into some witch finders who were sent from Princess Magra. So Kofun thought that his mother was dead. He finds out that she's not. Sorry. And Paris is staying behind to wait for Baba Voss. But again, towards the end of the episode, we see that there are 5 individuals who find her at night next to a campfire. We don't see who they are. We just see that there's 5 individuals, and she offers them tea. So curious to see who they are. Any ideas who you think they might be? I want to say they're probably sent out from Ito's people, unless they're someone else entirely. But again, I think it's safe to say that they were sent out from Ito Voss to hunt them down. And as far as maybe Lord Harlan, who was the Lord or High Lord of Pensa, who offers his palace to the Queen as the Queen and her sister come to the city, I almost think that he might betray them to some degree. I definitely think there's an underlying plot here with him, that he's not really willing to bow freely without anything. I think he is going to have another agenda here. And I think some of the tones that he has, the conversation he has with the Queen's sister, Princess Magra, at one point too, when the idea of treason comes to mind, when she mentions it as to what happened in the previous city of Kanzwa, something's up there. Just something doesn't feel right. So it'll be interesting to see what happens down the road of this season. Wouldn't be surprised if the Queen actually dies at some point. I might throw that out there as an early guesstimation, an early theory that she might be betrayed at some point, whether it be by Harlan or killed from Ito Voss's people. I'm not too sure if Magger will take over or if Harlan will continue to lead. All in all, I think it's going to be an interesting season. I think this first episode was very well done. Comparingly, the first episode of season 1 to season 2, I enjoyed this episode a lot more. I know that might not be fair to the first season because it's a new show, and it's kind of setting the tone and the precedence of how things are lining up and what this world and this universe consists of, based in this dystopian world that they're living in. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think that Harlan might betray the queen and lead the people? Do you think this child that the queen will be delivering at some point will lead the people to victory some point whenever it does grow up? Or do you think she'll never have the child? What do you think about the capturing of Bubba Voss? Do you think he'll be let go freely, or held ransom, or escape at some point, or rescued? Who do you think the people, the 5 people are that meet Paris at the end of the episode? Do you think they're friendly? Do you think they're foes? What do you guys think about this first episode as a whole, and where this might take us throughout the second season here? If I had to give this a rating, I'd say this is a solid 8 out of 10 for me. Again, I think this sets a good tone, a good precedence, not just from the story and the continuing of the characters and from how they're transferring from season 1 to season 2, but I think the fight scenes, the gore, for me personally, but the shots, the cinematography, the feeling, this cold, dreary feeling because of the climate that they're actually in, and the state of nature that they have to live in too. So if you have any questions or comments, please share them in the comment section below. Would like to see what other people think, if other people are watching the show, hopefully, and we can have a nice conversation from there. So again, please help us support the channel by hitting that subscribe button for free. Give us a like on the video with that thumbs up button. Turn on the bell for all future content notifications. And until next time, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.